Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me? I am looking for some feedback on the chat. If you can hear me, please let me know. I will go on with my presentation if you'll allow me, and hopefully, yes, you can hear me. Yes, perfect. All right. My name is Ioana. I lead talent acquisition for Genpact. I have prepared a few slides for you today, and before I start projecting them, I wanted to give you a bit of an introduction about myself. I have been working for Genpact for about 14 years, and I have been in talent acquisition for all of this time. And I have to say that I've worked in multiple countries in Europe, in multiple countries in Asia. Before moving to the US, where I'm currently based, I used to live and lead a team of HR professionals in Mexico. And with that experience, I really thought I had seen it all in terms of recruiting and how to do remote recruiting. I think the pandemic has proved us all wrong and has challenged us in multiple ways. So I want to talk to you about today. I want to talk to you today about some of the challenges that I have personally seen and I believe we have overcome during the time when all of this started in March and today. Who is Genpact? Genpact is a global professional services company. We started out many years ago as part of GE, and we deliver managed processes and services to clients, as well as digital transformation services. Our clients are top global Fortune 500 companies, and they seem to be pretty happy with our services as we constantly grow year on year. The reason I'm giving this long introduction is to kind of set up the context of what remote work meant for us, for our company, even before COVID started. Remote work was our bread and butter. It was what we did in a lot of ways. Genpact was amongst the first path openers of remote and working in and outside of your location environment. So that's when Max actually started to, when Max asked me to come and speak at the conference for about remote recruiting, I said, remote recruiting, of course. I mean, this is something that I had been doing for a very, very long time. I am used to doing this. Sure, it's going to be so easy. But then I started actually thinking about it and realized that there were many challenges that I actually had to overcome without even knowing. So as I was preparing for this, I think I've managed to identify certain key elements that we have, to be frank, struggled with, and hopefully overcome. So hopefully you can use some of that experience that we have had as well. Let me see if I can actually project the slides, because I did a lot of good work on them, and I would love for you to be able to see them as well. We can't see it. Yes, I have gotten that. So let me see, how can I make this right for you? All right. So, all right. So let me know if there's any feedback on seeing the slides. I suppose you could see the slides now. I'm seeing them coming up. I apologize for this little glitch. This is my first time using Hopin. And going back to what Jen was referring to, I appreciate your kindness with technology, and we're all learning how to use this. Going back to my experience with doing business remote, I think in the US and with Genpact, we've been in a very privileged position. We've had a lot of work as the pandemic started We received a big project from one of our global customers that gave us the challenge of hiring a huge number of people in a very, very short amount of time, which is a great place to be in, because at the same time, many companies were struggling with furloughs and layoffs. So we've been blessed from that perspective. Because we were quick to embrace the virtual work, we benefited from that big inflow of talent pool that was coming from companies that were not in the same situation. But what that has made us realize is actually reaching out to so many people and being able to offer a job was not enough to build candidate trust. And trust is the overarching topic for me today, because I want to talk about building trust and resilience through a completely remote and virtual process, right? And we often mistake remote and virtual because, I've been managing remote teams, much like Jen, for the majority of my professional life. I have built meaningful relationships with people over the phone and over Zoom conferences without ever meeting them. But remote and virtual are very different processes. So I felt like that distinction made everything a bit more challenging. Some of the things that we faced as we were talking to this talent pool that was becoming available and that we had jobs for was a complete lack of readiness to use technology. And I'm not talking about technology scrolling up your Facebook page and your Twitter page, but rather using collaboration tools, using tools that would enable you to be successful in an interview. Knowing how to use mute, knowing how to use your camera was not something that people were comfortable with. And quite frankly, they didn't trust the process that was happening entirely virtually, versus coming into the office, building trust by seeing us, by interacting, by making a human connection. So that was one of the big challenges we faced. The second one was underestimating the complexity of our own processes. As we were in the office, we used to provide a lot of support to candidates through their journey from one step to the other, being application to interview to onboarding, orientations, etc., etc. In a virtual environment, they couldn't really touch and feel that experience at all. So one of the things that we did in building trust is to bridge that gap in the process, the gap between one event and the other. And I want to talk about two of the solutions that I felt worked really well for us, and hopefully you have implemented them as well. And if you haven't, you're free to implement them and talk to me or ask me more questions about them when we do the expo session. One of the things we did was the candidate enablement toolkit. This toolkit actually takes candidates through the virtual process end to end, and it kind of gives them a glimpse into our intention. Our intention is to make you successful. Our intention is that you do well in your interview and you succeed in your job. So I want to build trust with you by offering you this preview into what would make you successful. So literally, we did a step-by-step process for them on how do you prepare, how do you research before the interview, how do you check that you are ready for a professional interview from your bedroom, right? That's not something that people were used to, right? How do you ensure that even when you take your interview from your bedroom, you still go through your ritual of, putting hair and makeup, doing your hair and makeup, putting on your white shirt, and showing up to the best of your abilities. So we actually walk them through that. What are good manners during a Zoom interview, during a video chat? What do you do after the interview? That has proven really an extraordinary tool in building trust with candidates. The second piece was the concierge service. We have implemented a team of specialists that are literally available nonstop during the working schedule for people to call in and actually inquire about What's my status of the interview? Where's my background check at? Hey, I need help with this. So this is really a glimpse into our company culture without them having to come and see the building where they're going to operate from. Of course, like every other company in the business, we have hired people across the nation. I call it borderless recruiting. We're no longer confined to a zip code or a state of doing business, but we could go borderless. And how do you create that candidate culture and trust and resilience in a borderless virtual environment? We feel that these are the two things that have really been paramount to the success of that. Now, before I let you go, I want to tell you about a company-wide initiative that Genpact had and that all of you can access if you're interested. As a company, as we were looking at building trust with our employees in a work-from-home environment, with our talent community, we understood that in order to help people reach their maximum professional potential, we need to maximize their abilities and their skill set. How do we do that? Well, the way we've done it is we've opened part of our internal learning platform to the public, to the world, at no cost. Those of you who have heard of Genpact in the past would probably know that when you say Genpact, you say learning. Learning has been at the core of our DNA, at the core of whatever we do in the company. We love the quote, "It is the learners who inherit the future." So in Genpact, typically, there's a lot of investment in learning. So what we've decided to do is actually extend that legacy to the outer world, to the public, at no cost. And so we created the Adapt and Rise movement, I would call it. It is, in fact, a learning platform. And if you Google hashtag We Are Genpact, hashtag Adapt and Rise, or simply go to our website and search for Adapt and Rise or genpact.com/professional resiliency, you are actually going to find 1,500 pieces of curated content that will help you enhance your professional skills, be it project management, be it sourcing and procurement, being frontline management, etc. This was the company's, so to speak, gift to the world during this time, and I invite all of you to check it out and perhaps find it useful or interesting. With this, I would like to thank you very much for your time and your attention, and I look forward to interacting more with you towards the end of the session in our Expo segment of the conference. I leave you now with Max again.